Hi. Tomorrow you have a very important match against Afghanistan. You have played very well against England, but tomorrow a team which is at the lower stage in the ICC ranking, and if we see you are at mostly same level. So how do you see tomorrow against Afghanistan? Because Afghanistan have two very good spinners, and you have played yesterday well against the fast bowlers of the England. So would be tomorrow some difficult for you against the spinners Rashid Khan and Mujib. They are the one of the best spinners of the world.
Yeah, we obviously know Rashid and Mujib very well, having played a lot against them over the last number of years. You're right, they'll pose a different threat to what England posed yesterday. However, we do have our plans against them. The pitch out there didn't take a huge amount of spin yesterday, and we hope that the big ground will suit our play. And as I said, we have played against them a huge amount of times before, so we've got our plans.
Now the group one is always it's a tough group, and now it's open because Australia already lost one match, England lost one match. So do you think you have some more chances than yesterday after the yesterday game? You have more chances to come in the semi-finals.
Look, we'll take it one game at a time. I think if you'd looked at the first two games, we would have wanted to get off to a better start than we did against Sri Lanka. But Ireland against England is always a great encounter, and I think we showed our worth yesterday. To be honest, we're not looking too far ahead of the game tomorrow, and let's see what happens and where we sit after that game.
One more question about your domestic cricket in Ireland. Cricket is not a big word in Ireland. After yesterday game, do you think in Ireland now cricket will be focused by the media more than in past?
Um, it's a difficult question because whilst it's not a huge sport, not one of the maybe top two or three sports, it's definitely growing. And I guess everyone has to start somewhere. I think it might have been maybe 7 or 8 years ago that our domestic structure started over in Ireland, and it's gone from strength to strength. We're now responsible for producing our own players and sustaining them rather than the best players, best young Irish players going over to play county cricket in England. And that can be seen as a challenge, but it's also a great thing for Irish cricket because that domestic structure becomes stronger. And hopefully that can continue to grow over the next number of years. The cricket it's a small community in Ireland, but it's a very vibrant one, and it's a close knit one. And I think we are well aware that we've got the backing of everyone.
Thank you.
Ganesh.
Hi. After yesterday's big game, so what was the mood in the camp, and I mean just in I mean at a matter of 24 hours you're again playing a game again. So how's the whole mood in the camp? I'm sure they're all celebrating, excited, and it's a rejuvenated camp. So what was the whole what was the whole feeling after you guys went back and after that victory?
Yeah, it was obviously a big day for Irish cricket and Irish sport in general. I think anytime you beat England, and especially at one of the most iconic grounds in the world, is always a good one. But we are very focused on the rest of the competition now. Yesterday's gone. Look, we enjoyed it. We had a nice time with some family for an hour or two whenever we got back to the hotel last night, and we enjoyed the success together. But the group are very, very focused on the next three games.
And what are the takeaways from yesterday's game, and what are the areas that you'd like to work upon that going forward? Do you think that there's particular? I'm sure there's been discussions about a few finer points.
Of course, yeah, we're always looking to improve. I think if you look back at yesterday's game, we dominated large parts of it. For 12 overs of our innings, we played almost the perfect game, and for I would say even more than that of their innings. I thought our bowlers were outstanding. So it was probably just the last 8 overs of our batting innings, and then obviously the rain came at a time where we needed the break because mowing was in and starting to go. So. But I don't think anyone could argue that we thoroughly deserved our win yesterday, and that goes a huge amount of credit to the guys, the way they performed. It was a quick bouncy deck, and obviously Mark Wood bowling quickly, and I thought our batters really set the tone. We've spoken a lot about throwing the first punch. Andrew Balbirnie, our captain, we want to stand toe to toe with them, and the way him and Paul Sterling set the tone with the bat, I thought was outstanding. And yeah, once we set that platform, we go a little bit unlucky with the run out of Lorcan Tucker, and unfortunately, then after that, we lost wickets quite regularly and weren't able to, really capitalise on that platform. So that's something we'll be looking to improve on tomorrow.
Okay, Ian Calendar.
Hey Gary,
Hi, Ian.
you were obviously a member of the 2010 team in Guyana when we were Australia against England. Does it give you a particular extra satisfaction that we got our revenge yesterday, 12 years on?
Ah, it was a long time ago, that, Ian. Look, I was just so pleased for the lads yesterday, because, I think after getting through the group stage from where we were, after 10 overs against Scotland, I think I was talking to someone after the West Indies game, and I think WinViz gave us a 1% chance of qualifying after 10 overs against Scotland. So to get through that and then beat West Indies, get into the Super 12s where we firmly believe we belong, and then to put in the performance we did against England, was just so pleasing. And really, really delighted for the lads that they're now showing the world stage what we're all seeing for the last 12 months.
Would you say that's our best win in T20 cricket, better than the West Indies, even though we didn't actually finish the match yesterday?
I don't know. It's hard to compare. Even all the good wins over the years, I don't really like to compare, because it's now getting to a stage where, when do we stop talking about big wins, and when do they just become wins? Because it is happening sort of semi regularly now, and that's where we want to get to. We don't want it to be all shock Ireland win again. It's now happening a little bit more, and with that becomes a little bit more responsibility, and a different pressure. So like I said to one of the questions earlier, just sort of taking it one game at a time, and try not to compare too many results over the past, because they were all great days in their own right.
The captain played another very good innings yesterday. It's probably his second in 3 games after a poor run of form. He said after the West Indies game that you had actually helped him. What exactly? Can you give us an idea what you said to him? What he's worked on?
Um, I think with Bally, he is a form player, and he's shown that throughout his career. And then when he gets on a couple of good scores, he can tend to go on a run. But it's just a big, like with all the guys, you just want him to play to his own strengths. If he gets out playing to his strengths, then I think everyone, the coaching staff, the captain, the other players, you can deal with that. It's almost you sitting in the dugout, and you know what each individual player is thinking and each individual player is going to do. And if they get out playing to those strengths, then you can deal with that. And a couple of times in the summer, maybe he went away from those strengths. So I just sort of try to keep it really as simple as possible with him and the rest of the guys, to be honest. But huge credit to the way he's gone about it, because captain in your country in a World Cup on the biggest stage, against one of your biggest rivals, and to go out there and play a match-winning knock, all the credit really deserves to go to him.
And obviously, the biggest difference probably in this improved form of the team in general is that the power hitting. We've got power hitters basically all throughout the team right down the order. You've been working hard on that over recent times.
Yeah, I look again. You talk about taking just good options. Scoring quickly can mean different things on different grounds, and I think the beauty of it, the way we reacted, it helped us that we played a warm up game here. Undoubtedly, we got to look at the dimensions of the ground. We got to look at the way the surface played, and batting at the MCG is very, very different to batting at Hobart, and I'm sure it'll be different to batting again at Brisbane and Adelaide as well. So it's about assessing those conditions as quickly as possible, and playing your game accordingly. We'd be foolish to play the same way in Hobart as Melbourne. It's the dimensions of the ground are so much different, and I think we can take out of that as well the way we played in our first 12 overs yesterday, and we didn't quite get it right for the last 8. But let's hope tomorrow we can put a more complete batting performance in, and whether that's setting or chasing.
It's very noticeable that it's the spinners that got the wickets caught in the deep. With pace off, the slow bowling, they're very hard to clear those huge boundaries at the MCG, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's dependent on the length as well. You know, we saw the other day against India and Pakistan when the spinners came on. I think Axar Patel bowled and he got hit for 3 sixes in the over. It just I think depends however the bowler bowls, and whether that's seam or spin. I think length is key, and that goes for I guess a lot of grounds around the world, but it's especially key here whenever the square boundaries are so big and people will look to punish you as soon as you come full, and I think we've seen that in all the games so far. But I was especially pleased with the way our guys attacked, especially in that first 12 overs. Something we talked a lot about was not trying to muscle the ball too hard and using the pace of the English bowlers and as I said before, you know, the way the guys set the tone up front, it really sent a message to the rest of the group as to how we wanted to play.
Thanks very much, Gary.
Sure.
Gentlemen, just here.
Thank you so much. This is Jafar from Afghanistan. What do you think? How tough side Afghanistan is for you?
Well, like we've played a lot against Afghanistan in the past, so as I said, you know, we're under no illusions how good a side they are. I think every team that gets to the Super 12 in the World Cup is going to be a tough challenge, and Afghanistan are no different.
And do you consider Afghanistan as your big rival?
Well, because we play against them a lot, we know them very well, and yeah, it's always a good series. It's always a tough encounter. Usually the matches are pretty close, and we'll be expecting no different.
Thank you.
Sure.
Last questions? No, that's fine. Thank you very much.